Hello, my name is Calth, and today we are going to talk about the disappearance of Betrayal at Calth and burning of Prospero. If you wanted either of those boxes, you are now officially shit out of luck because they are not available anymore. It's sold out online, and yeah, you cannot get them. Not only that, but a few people have sent me messages via Twitter saying that they have been in their local Games Workshop and seen the boxes being taken off the shelves, prepared to be packed up and sent away to Nottingham. Someone linked me to a Bolt and Chainsaw thread where someone said that a manager at their Games Workshop said that the boxes would be open and then the contents pared down to go into the separate boxes. I don't know how true that is. That's what they said the manager said. Possibly. It's entirely possible. And really, this sends a very, very odd message if you are interested in getting into the Horus Heresy or are into the Horus Heresy currently. Because those two boxes were very good ways to get started in that hobby. Hell, actually, they were pretty good ways to get started in 40k as well. I mean, they had everything you needed. They had plenty of power armor, some Terminators. I think it was Betrayal at Calth had the Contemptor. I can't remember what Burning of Prospero had, if there was a vehicle in there. I don't think there was. A couple of variations of Terminator armor if you got both boxes. Immediately that would be like 190 quid, but still that would be a lot of Marine army for your money. And especially when you consider that the cost of those kits individually are considerably more expensive than if you were to buy the box. I think the Contemptor and a set of the Mark IV Marines would come to probably around 60 quid by themselves, and you get a decent number of Marines in those boxes. It just sends a weird message. It sends a very confusing message. Now, there's a couple of reasons as to why they might have taken them down. I'll be honest, I cannot remember when Burning of Prospero was released. I can't remember how long ago it was. Betrayal at Calth was, I think, quite a while ago. Prospero came after that. Prospero is not as old as Betrayal at Calth, and yet they've both been taken out of production or, taken out of sale at the same time. It could be that the rise in popularity of Primaris, like the introduction of Primaris and the fact that for all of the shouting that we have online and for all the people who think they're the worst thing ever, that doesn't seem to have directly impacted sales in any conceivable way, shape or form. No matter how many people shout that they hate them, there seems to be about 50 other people who are buying them constantly. You cannot move on any painting subreddit or forum without seeing a shed load of Primaris. They're clearly popular as hell. Whether that's contributed to it, the fact that the old marks of tactical armour just aren't interesting to people anymore, that the old stumpy Marines just aren't doing it for them now that they've got tall, shiny, fancy Primaris, that could be having an impact, but that's just very sort of anecdotal and a bit of a guess. There's also the fact that Forge World has been a little bit unstable, should we say, it feels recently, especially with the Horus Heresy stuff. I mean, we've seen a load of the upgrade packs disappear for the Legions. A lot of the weapons options have been disappearing. We've seen we've seen units disappear as quickly as they've been brought out in some cases. The overall impression that Forge World is giving of the Horus Heresy is not that it is a stable, long-lasting system right now. Is the truth of it. It just doesn't look like a great place to start trying to play, if that makes sense. So if you're thinking about starting Horus Heresy, obviously a good place to start would be one of the two boxes or both boxes if you're feeling flush. And if you look at that and then look at the discontinued side of Forge World, it'd be kind of easy to go, I'm going to hold off on that. That feels a bit weird. A lot of stuff's disappearing. I'm not entirely sure how long that side of the hobby's going to last. There's also the fact that really Horus Heresy is kind of a subset of a subset, if that makes sense. It's kind of a niche within niche. It's obviously done very well for Games Workshop and Forge World, but part of me also wonders whether the introduction of 8th has had a bit of an impact on it, whether people have switched systems, and as such, the whole Horus Heresy stuff just isn't getting much of a look in for a lot of people. A lot of it is guesswork. I have asked a few people, if they know anything about it, and for the most part it's just a case of no, they've just stopped selling them, sold out, and they don't intend to restock anytime soon. But there's all sorts of possible causes and reasons for it. I mean, another factor could even be the price increases from Forge World to some extent, not to a huge extent, but Forge World has been kind of a bit strange in the way Horus Heresy has been handled recently. That combined with suddenly increasing prices the way they have for a lot of the world, it just doesn't send a great message, it doesn't send a great image, and all of that could contribute to people just not wanting to spend the money on that side of the hobby. The thing is, the timing of it is what feels strange to me. I mean, more than anything else, it's the timing of it. Betrayal at Calth is older than Prospero by a fair bit, I seem to remember, and both of the boxes going out of production at the same time, you would think they would have equivalent lifespans, but they haven't had that. And it does genuinely just make me think that perhaps Horus Heresy is just not doing well enough at the moment. Perhaps there is just not enough interest for them to warrant continuing to make the boxes. I mean, we know that if interest in a product falls to a certain point, they'll stop making it. I mean, that's probably the driving reason behind a lot of the Horus Heresy stuff disappearing from Forge World. People weren't buying it. There's no point making it and continuing to make it and continuing to stock it if you're making, like, even at a conservative guess, like 10 kits of something a month, but only one person is buying those kits once every 6 months. What's the fucking point? You know, that's a very scaled down example, but you get what I mean. It makes me worry just a little bit for the future of the Horus Heresy, simply because those were great ways to get into that system. Now, it's not a system that I've got into myself personally, but I know a lot of people who get a lot of enjoyment from it, and having the two main entryways into that disappear, the two most affordable ways into that disappear, I mean, that's the other key thing as well. It's the most affordable way to get started in a very expensive Games Workshop system. It's hellish expensive, especially when you look at the cost of the Horus Heresy books from Forge World. I actually had an interesting chat with the guys from Tactica Imperialis and 40k Theories about kind of the value of those books, because they're like 75 quid a pop. Now, technically, you're getting like a campaign book, you're getting short stories, you're getting codexes, you're getting unit profiles, you're getting quite a lot out of them, but there's no other option. You can't just pay for the rules. It's an all or nothing kind of deal. It's an all or nothing kind of hobby, Horus Heresy. Removing two of the entryways into it just makes me fear a little bit for the future of the game, because asking someone to dump hundreds on resin tactical marines just doesn't seem like a great idea. I'll be honest. It doesn't seem like it's got legs. That it started out that way, yeah. I mean, it started out that way, but I would imagine that the introduction of those boxes did a lot to bolster the numbers of the people playing Horus Heresy. With them gone, I'm not saying it's like the death knell. I'm not saying that Horus Heresy is now officially dead. Everyone stopped playing. These boxes have gone, therefore there's no future for it. I don't think that's the case at all. I think you will have dedicated people who will continue playing and who will continue buying. But the removal of those boxes is a definite blow to that side of the hobby, and I would kind of hope that we would see something to replace them. Whether that actually happens or not, I don't know. They might just be removing them for new stock, or they could just be gone for the foreseeable future. I would hope that something replaces them, because it feels like Horus Heresy is in a strange place right now, and the actions of Forge World have contributed to that, and now taking these two boxes away is not really helping matters either. Question is, why do you think they've got rid of them? Do you think it is just a sales thing? Do you think there might be a fall in interest to any of the things that I've talked about in terms of, Primaris or like the new system, anything like that? Do you reckon any of those theories have got legs, or do you know something that we don't? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click Patreon, subscribe, videos, all of that shit. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to, and I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.